I'd like to welcome everybody to our inaugural Future Leaders program. This event is sponsored by Cambridge. This program is brought to you by NAIFA's Young Advisor Team, or YATs as we call them. What a YAT is a YAT is somebody that is 40 years or under, or been in the business for 5 years or less. My name is Blake Gillis, and I'm currently serving as the 2020 National YAT Chair. My role within our industry is the director of the DI Concierge. What we do is we help advisors implement income protection strategies for their clients and their businesses. And I think I highlight really the different ways of which you can find a niche in our industry. I'm very excited to be a part of NAIFA's newest initiative. This program is designed specifically for college students who are exploring a career in our industry. We are excited to welcome you into the fold as the next generation of leaders in our industry. Please take this opportunity to connect with any of us on the call today. You can either use the chat feature in the Zoom or connect with us on LinkedIn. Every presenter, their LinkedIn information is listed with our photos in the Future Leaders homepage, where everybody registered to attend today. So let's go ahead and kick things off. It's now my pleasure to introduce to you our first speaker, Mr. Chris Gandy. We've got good representation from the University of Illinois on this call today, and Chris is a proud Illinois alum. In fact, after playing basketball for the Fighting Illini, Chris went on to play for the Chicago Bulls. Upon leaving the NBA, he started his career in the insurance and financial services industry. Chris, I'll turn it over to you, and thank you very much.
Thank you. ILL, I have the orange and blue on today, and I'm safely representing the everyone with my mask. So the idea of participating today in the Future Leaders, again, my name's Chris Gandy. Those of you who Google me, you will see me in the orange and blue. So I know we have a handful of orange and blue, University of Illinois alum, along with others. And they asked me to participate, and I said that I would share a handful of things that hopefully you take away today and have an opportunity to really think holistically about coming into the industry of risk management and comprehensive financial services. And so there's 3 prongs that I want to spend a little bit of time on today, and I only have a short period of time with you. And so I'll start off with the idea that I have on my board here: Future Leaders. The future does not give the past the power to define the future. One of the things that we've realized is that the future is yet to be unfolded. And we have an opportunity today, only today, to make an impact on that future. And so going forward, our opportunity is really relevant to what the future of our association looks like. As Blake mentioned, I started in the financial services after playing professional basketball. I went to the University of Illinois, played 5 years, redshirted my first year, and had an opportunity to continue playing professionally after that. Shortly thereafter, I went on to the NBA for a short period of time, and then ended up playing basketball overseas for a couple of years. After that, I had to figure out what I want to do when I grow up. What do I want to do with the rest of my life? I'm 23 years old, 24 years old at the time. Didn't really know. Thought that, yeah, I think I want to be a pilot. I think that's what I want to do. I think I want to fly airplanes. And so I started down the path of potentially flying airplanes. And those who can't tell, I'm most basketball players are typically pretty tall. I stand about 6'9", about 240 pounds, a little under 240 pounds now, but at 6'9", one of the things they told me is that, yeah, it's going to be pretty tough for you to get into the cockpit, because typically, unless you're flying one of the big bombers or something like that, then you can't be over 6'2". So that kind of rules me out of that. I graduated from the University of Illinois with a degree in business communications. I studied in the business college for years and figured I'd get into investment banking. So I started down that path. And again, you never know where the future is going to take you until you pursue it passionately to figure out what you want to do. One of the things I've realized since then is that you got to take what God gives you for talents and you have to explore those. I do know that some of the universities have started down the path of allowing young professionals like yourself, if you're on this call, to consider financial services as a platform. We also have realized that in our industry, we figure that there are three types of people that come into the world of financial services. There are the people that come in to be what I call campers, and those are the people that want to be in financial services but don't want to be on the front lines. Those are people that, and again, this may be you. You may want to be a person that works behind the scenes, actually helping people organize their financial affairs. And if that's you, then I would strongly recommend you consider part of the financial service platform that you're considering on the analyst side. Then there's also people that want to consider, they want to be out in the front, they want to be communicating with clients, they want to work with clients, but they just don't want to hunt. They don't necessarily want to go out and find people. They want people to come to them. And I would strongly recommend you talk to someone who's been in the industry for a while in financial services, and you consider them having a conversation with them, because you may find that your talents are better suited for the role that has both opportunities in it. And then there's the opportunity to actually hunt. And those people are far few and in between. If you look at the financial services industry, the average person in the financial services industry is somewhere around the age of 56 years old. So this is a call to action. We need young professionals like yourself to come into the industry and consider being the person who helps guide people along the way to help them with their total financial service package. Not just managing money, because that's something that we feel that is attractive to people. You want to be someone in this industry, or consider being in this industry, to really help people figure out what to do with their money. If you look at some common statistics, you'll see that the average American over the age of 45 years old, that's married with 2 kids, have less than $40,000 saved. That tells you that most people don't know what they're doing. Most people are just making it up as they go along. The average person, because of coronavirus, a great example is of today, the average person, because of coronavirus, has less than 2 months saved of money. The majority of people would have ran out if there was no stimulus package. What does that tell you about the world and the society in which we live? People need guidance. And so the call to action is, we need young professionals like yourself to come in and change the industry and consider not only doing asset management, but also consider doing risk management. At the very beginning of the CFP, one of the first classes is insurance planning. And insurance planning is such one of those terms that over the period of time, people have looked at it and said, I'm not sure I want to do insurance. But what we don't realize is insurance is everywhere around us. If we look at pensions, pensions are nothing more than insurance products issued by insurance companies that are guaranteed and backed by insurance providers. That's all they are. They're upside down insurance policies. That is the reason why if someone passes away with a pension, the pension can continue on for their family. So consider that. One of the things people consider now, if you took people that are retiring over the next 5 years and you ask them, what are their most common concerns? What's the most interesting to them? They will tell you. They will tell you that the one thing I'm concerned about the most is I don't want to run out of money. And the only way in which people will not run out of money, the only way based on statistical data, and we like to use the data, we don't want to go off of gut instinct, is they will tell you that the only way to make sure people don't run out of money is to give them guarantees for the rest of their life. There's only a handful of places that give guarantees, and one of them is actually insurance and risk management. So I only have a minute left. I was just notified by Blake. So Blake, I'm going to kick it back over to you. But I want to close with the ending to my story. And the story was that basketball gave me an opportunity to find one of the greatest gifts of life. That was the opportunity to be in the financial services industry, the opportunity to deal with risk, the opportunity to deal with investments, and the opportunity to be able to talk to young professionals like yourself, young aspiring individuals, always from the University of Illinois, ILL. And we look forward to having you in this industry, and we look forward to seeing what you can do. And we love to mentor you along the way. So consider joining the financial services industry, consider joining the risk management platform, and consider getting out there and inspiring people through actions and efforts and efficiency. So I look forward to seeing all of you later on. And welcome to the P+P conference. Come to my session a little bit later this week, where we're going to be talking about how to build a business and never run out of people to talk to. So I'll see you on the other side. Blake, I'm kicking it back to you. See you guys later.
Hey, Chris, thank you very much. I think, among other things, you highlighted very, very well, really the different ways this industry can find a home for people. So thank you, Chris. And yes, definitely check out Chris's P+P performance. Next up, we're going to have 4 NAIFA members, really with completely different careers, all under the insurance and financial services umbrella. Each one of them is going to talk for a couple minutes about their specific jobs, and then kind of give you an inside track of what they do on a daily basis. Today we have Becky Brothers, Cheryl Canzanella, Isaac Amaya, and Derek Sheets. Becky, I'm going to go ahead and have you kick things off, if you don't mind.
No, Blake, thank you. I'm certainly happy to kick things off. I'm definitely not shy. Did not get introduced through basketball. I'm 5'3.5", so did not do that. But I will tell you, I have been in this industry for 18 years. I know I don't look at it's SPF, but I have been in this industry for 18 years. It's true. And I'm actually working from a desk made out of boxes right now, because I'm fortunate enough to be making my 3rd cross-country move and doing my next adventure. And I'm able to do this because of my job. So what is my job? My job is I am a regional business strategist. And what I focus on is business, brand, and market development. I love research. I love prospecting. I love connecting. So a lot of the things that Chris said, those are the ones that are few and far between. I'm your few and far in between. I enjoy doing that. And I'm also going to be doing my cross-country road trip with my very best friend, who is also a panelist. And thank you, Mark. I appreciate you. He just said I don't look a day over 29. I agree. But Cheryl Canzanella, who is also a panelist, I met through the NAIFA YAT program. We met at a social in Jacksonville, Florida. I think a little over a decade ago, to be honest. I've lost count. But we've been inseparable ever since. I was actually talking to Dalvin Joyce a little bit before this started. And it was funny because he said that he mixed Cheryl and I up. He goes, I met you both at the same time. He's like, so it's always Cheryl and Becky, or Becky and Cheryl. So that is something that this industry has given back to me. Now, I have been able to do all of this because I've been with the same company for 18 years. And you hear that sometimes, and sometimes you won't. But I have been fortunate enough to be with the same company for 18 years. And I have held 7 to 8 different positions. So I'm a connector, I'm a strategist, I'm a consultant, I'm an entrepreneur. But the best thing is I get to indirectly help thousands of people and businesses by partnering with financial professionals and leaders across the country, so I can help them and you approach consumers and businesses that need our help and advice. Because you don't know what you don't know, and you can't be an expert in everything. And this is what we are experts in. And that is how you can help others. A little background. I did explore being a financial planner and educator because I do believe to my core that this is one of the most important spokes on the holistic wheel of healthy living that you need to have. I mean, many people take that for granted. I mean, people will pay for insurance on their phone, Cheryl Canzanella, and not do other things. And she's gonna beat me for that one. It's an inside joke. I'll tell
I
you guys
certainly
about it
am.
later. You guys can connect with me on LinkedIn, and I'll let you know all about that one. She's gonna kill me. Going back into that, a little bit of background. I mean, I explored being a financial planner. I was like, I love this. I want to help people. I mean, I had a best friend that was killed. I had a grandmother that died. No one had plans. No one had funds. And it was a horrible, horrible experience. I got 1 minute. Okay, my time's up. Anyway, really, really quick, I'm going to turn it over to Cheryl, but I just want to let you know, I did do the financial planning. I don't like doing financial planning, so I hired a financial planner. So, Cheryl, over to you because they cut me off.
Thank you. And yes, one of the best things about NAIFA is meeting all the great people. And Becky and I work for competing firms, so it's always fun having a different perspective. So I am the NAIFA's Young Advisor Leader of the Year for 2019, which is why I'm wearing this snazzy jacket. But I started in the industry actually while I was a student at Palm Beach Atlantic University. Go Sailfish. But 21 years ago. And I'll share with you that when I started, no idea what a stock and bond was. And I'm like 100% being honest. I had no idea. But I also had no idea I was going to work for one of the biggest firms, one of the biggest financial firms out there, which has a bull for a logo, which I'm sure you've probably guessed which one that is. But I had no idea what I was getting into. And I'm sure, you've probably seen the movie Wall Street, or maybe you're too young to remember that one, but maybe The Wolf of Wall Street. No, I had this like image in my head about the financial services industry and what it looks like this unethical stockbroker who takes advantage of you and is, popping champagne bottles and money and living it up on a yacht. I don't know. And maybe the greasy sales car man, with the tie and white shirt, short sleeves. But obviously that's not our industry, and you can see the passion that Chris shared just a moment ago and how fulfilling and impactful of a career this being in this industry can be. And I think we do a poor job of communicating that to all of the opportunities that this business can provide. And attending, programs like this offered by NAIFA, I think gives a great outline of the importance it is of what we truly do. So similar to Chris, my career took a lot of different paths. I started in internal sales for Merrill Lynch, got securities license, got my insurance exams. And yes, I eventually figured out what a stock and bond was, but I helped advisors with insurance sales, like Chris mentioned, for their clients, and working with them allowed me to kind of get a lay of the land. And I realized I wanted to do that. I wanted to help other people. So I was lucky enough to be taken under the wing of a mentor. And I still talk to her today, but she invited me in on her team and I became an advisor for a few years until another role popped up and I had the ability to work as a supervisor within compliance. And, compliance is typically known to be that, sales stopper or, trying to look out for the bad guys. But most of the people I think in our business are ethical and, I think they get in the business to help each other or help others, like Chris mentioned. But we are in a highly regulated industry. We are dealing with money and it's important to have compliance, make sure that our clients are well served and, that we're staying within our own lanes. And of course, I had another opportunity to bring in new people to the industry. So that would be people that are, new recruits like yourself, coming into the industry. But my latest role with MassMutual for the last, almost 9 years has been working with advisors and offering our insurance product lineups to them. And I can tell you throughout all of my roles, it has kind of shaped me to be where I am today. But I can tell you that throughout my entire career, nothing could have ever prepared me to be a widow at age 38. I mean, everything I own everything I sell because I believe in it. And when my husband passed away, he passed away with no life insurance. And why is that? It's because he didn't qualify. He didn't have insurance, and he didn't purchase it when he was young, when he was healthy, and when he had an affordable cost. And he didn't have advisors out there telling him why it was important. Advisors like myself and everybody you'll hear from today. Everyone thinks it's not going to happen to them. But I can assure you, it happened to me, and it happens to regular people all the time. So this is life. I mean, and as advisors, we have the opportunity to plan for the unforeseen. And when it happens, so you can be financially prepared to face it. So I'll end with, because I know I'm getting the boot too. I'm very proud of our industry, and the wonderful people that I meet. I'm proud of what we can do. There's no one else out there who will help you with putting your life back together after a crazy catastrophe like I experienced. And it's rewarding to say that I do this for a living and that I can help the people who are depending on me. And it's my passion and purpose and my why, and for what I do, and love what I do each and every day.
Thank you very, very much, Cheryl. Isaac, do you mind giving us an insight to your daily life?
Of course, of course. Hi, everyone. My name is Isaac Amaya. Currently, I'm an annuity sales manager at the Pinnacle Group. And to break that down a bit, and I loved what how Chris kind of mentioned things, and he said campers and hunters. So I'm a camper is what he would describe me as. I'm an internal wholesaler for annuities. And annuities are in that insurance realm, and we provide guaranteed lifetime income for clients, which is very key, very important. So my role as an internal wholesaler would be helping out financial advisors out hunting, out in the field, that really get a client that may fit for an annuity. And if it does, they come to me, and my job is to be up to date on what's going on in the annuity world. So I keep up with rates, any paperwork, changes in the industry. That's my job. So that way the financial advisor, the guy out there hunting, doesn't have to be bogged down with researching and keeping up to date with all that information. They could concentrate on hunting. Now, how I got into this role, I first started out with Prudential. I was a financial professional associate intern, and I would really recommend internships and mentors. I know Cheryl mentioned having a great mentor. I've got a great mentor. Mentors are really ultimately important, and so are internships. So that way you can learn about the industry and have someone to really teach you about what's going on. It's a lot of information. There's a lot of information on the finance world, insurance world, compliance world, and you need help on how to break that down. From there, kind of got this opportunity in the annuity side of things, and I actually thought I was at a disadvantage because life insurance was the yes, this is the background from Suits. Life insurance was my forte coming from Prudential. That's all I did. I remember seeing wholesalers come in to teach the financial professionals about annuities, and I had no idea what they were doing. But now I kind of understand more. It's our job as wholesalers to kind of help financial advisors hunt and go face to face with clients out there and teach them about life insurance and teach them about financial advising and planning and saving and annuities and all that sort of thing. So it's my job to help them in that world. Now I'm 28, so I don't think this is it for me right now where I'm at. I like wholesaling, but I do see myself, I want to be more face to face with clients. So this industry it allows you much growth once you figure something out. I mean, there's a lot of paths that you can take, and I would really suggest everybody has a different level of expertise to reach out. If what one of us said really stuck to you, hey, the annuity side, I want to know what that is. Please feel free to reach out to me. Cheryl mentioned something about compliance. She would know a lot more about compliance than I would. Becky, she has her expertise. Chris has their expertise. So reach out to one of us, and we're more than willing to help in what we know. Because like Cheryl, right now, I don't know much about stocks and bonds. I just know about annuities. So that's in a nutshell what I do from day to day. Financial advisors, I'll tell you what, financial professionals, it's an ongoing joke between us. When they get our phone call, wholesale phone, sometimes they run away because we're on them. We're trying to help them out. We're trying to keep them up to date with what's going on in the industry. And we have specific items that we want to let them know about, but they need to be prepared for everything. And not only annuities, for example, or life insurance or stocks. They need to be prepared to talk to a client about savings. Hey, put some money in the bank. And that doesn't require a wholesaler. So that's my bit. And I'll leave it back to Blake. Thank you, guys.
Hey, Isaac, thank you very much. Derek, do you mind bringing this session to a close for us?
That would absolutely be my pleasure. Good morning, everyone. My name is Derek Sheets. I'm with Lifetime Financial Growth. We are a Guardian Life agency. I wanted to share with you guys a little bit about how I got into the industry, what led me to the market that I'm consistently working with now, and how I see my business growing in the future. So I graduated from Ohio State in 2011. I was a consumer and family financial management major with a specialization in financial planning. So I had that path already slated for me. Now, I was working as a surgical technician. Thank you, go Bucks. Yes, absolutely. I was working as a surgical technician in town, and I really enjoyed what I was doing. I just didn't realize I was at the ceiling when it came to income until about 2 years later. I realized I either need to go back to school, become a nurse, or figure something else out. So I took a step back and I looked at my college degree. I always knew I wanted to help people. Just did not understand how I could do it in financial services, as most of our courses were based on making a plan for someone that doesn't exist. So you don't have the feel of actually helping someone. Now, I was able to jump into this industry with a company that I'm no longer with now, but it was a blessing in disguise. They paid me to get my licensing. I was able to work there for a couple of months, and I learned the industry pretty quickly. So I was able to meet with a friend from high school. He reached out to me. I was introduced to the general agent here at Lifetime Financial Growth, and it was a no-brainer. I made the switch to LFG 4 years ago. So I've been with LFG Columbus for 4 years, and it's been a fantastic process. So again, going back to that surgical technician experience that I had, I wanted to be able to help people. I just didn't know who or where or when. So I decided I want to focus my time on medical and dental professionals. So I started networking with them and going to study groups, meeting with dental students, medical students at the Ohio State Dental and Medical School. I started to host lunch and dinner and learns. And that all started with one simple introduction to the president of one of the dental fraternities. From there, going back to what Christopher was saying earlier, I consider myself a strategic hunter. I have to connect these dots. So I have to take the first person I met and I have to find 100 more people from that one person. That's what I'm trying to do. And that one person introduced me to another, which introduced me to another, and the ball just kept rolling down the hill. So things really started to take off about a year ago, and they've been consistently growing. Now, when the pandemic hit, we really had to change our networking and our marketing. So instead of doing these lunch and dinner and learns, we did a lot of virtual stuff. So we had a company called GradFin come in and speak to some of these students about refinancing their student loans, what that might look like, opening up cash flow to redeploy somewhere else, which is beneficial to us as the advisor, beneficial to the client. So it's a win-win. It's a beneficial thing to GradFin as well. So that was a value add that we were able to give to our clients, and it was very, very great. And then I decided, since we can't really go into these fraternity houses or into the dental or medical school, I decided to speak up with Topgolf, which is right across the street from us here in Columbus. So tonight is my first event, actually. I have 10 fourth-year dental students coming to my event tonight, and I have 2 bays reserved. My team and I are going to, well, one of my teammates and myself are going to be there, and we're doing it tonight, tomorrow night, and then every week for the next 3 weeks on Tuesday and Wednesdays with different groups each time. The response has been unbelievably positive, and we just want to continue to do things like this. So another opportunity we're doing is with NAFA Columbus is the pedal cart. We're doing a pedal cart here in town in October or this month. And it's about getting people out of their comfort zone, because now our comfort zone is sitting on our couch. We need to change things up so that we can get to a point where, yes, we're all out there having fun. If we're having fun with our clients, that's even better. So at the end of the day, you need to get in front of your clients, and that's what we've been able to do. One last thing, I've been staying in touch with my clients via MyNameFlow. It is a automated email service that you choose 4 articles to send out every month to your mailing list. It's been very productive. I had 6 people reach back out to me last month, and that's the most I've had. So it's continuing to grow. And that really is where I am today. I see my business continuing to grow in the future and working along these dental and medical professionals to help them climb the mountain as well as get back down the mountain. And that's where Isaac can help me, is finding guaranteed income with certainty. So thank you very much. Again, Derek Sheets with Lifetime Financial Growth.
Thank you, Derek. And thank you to our other panelists in the Shark Tank round. Next, I'm gonna have the one, the only Mr. Delvin Joyce. Delvin is a financial advisor with Prudential, and he actually can be seen in their latest commercial that's running on TV. And I will also say, Chris, you are not the only former professional athlete on this call. Delvin also played for the New York Giants for a few years. And to top it all off, Delvin, you know, since we're promoting you the way we are, he was also on this last week's episode of Family Feud. And if you did not watch it, I challenge you to do some Googling on what a beanie weenie is. With that, I'm going to have Delvin really talk to you about some things that he does in his daily life. So thanks, Delvin.
Awesome. Thank you, Blake. And thank you for that shout out. This is really exciting. I've been looking forward to this ever since we announced this program. So first and foremost, I want to give all of you kudos for getting up this morning and being here, because you could have slept in, right? You're college kids. So as Blake said, I played professional football. Before you get too excited, I was not a star on the Giants by any means. But luckily for me, I happened to look like one of the stars on the team at the time. So I'm not going to say who it is. You can put it in the chat. We'll talk about that another time. But as a professional football player, there are several things that I learned throughout my athletic career that have really helped me to be successful in financial services. And if there's one attribute that I could say that I carried over from athletics into this industry, it's my mindset. It's the belief and the perseverance and the stick-to-itiveness and all those things that you need to be successful. Because I don't know if they teach this in your school book in college, but this is a really tough industry. It's a tough business to be in. And you need that mindset, which for me means that you have the belief that you can be successful. Now, when I started in this industry 14 years ago, and shout out to Becky Brothers, I don't think I look like I've been in the industry for 14 years either. But when I started in this industry 14 years ago, the first thing that I heard was how hard the industry was, how hard it was to be successful, that the 4-year retention rate for new advisors in this industry was 11%. All right, 11%, which meant that 89% of people who started in this industry were going to fail out inside of 4 years. Now, for me, again, we're talking about mindset. for me, that was my cue to say, well, sign me up, because, you know, I had just come from an industry, right? Professional athletics, the NFL, where in a world of 7.5 billion people, I was one of 1,700 who could say they were an NFL player. So I didn't focus on the 89% who failed. I focused on the 11% who were successful. And, you know, through over the last 14 years, I think that retention rate has actually improved. It's something like 15% now. But I want you, as you start to develop your mindset, and if you're thinking about coming into this career, you have to think about the 15% who are successful and not the 85% who fail. Now, here's the beautiful part about our industry. The retention rate after that fourth year is actually closer to 88%, right? So if you can make it, if you can persevere, if you can have that grit and determination and stick-to-itiveness to make it through those tough 4 years, then your chances of succeeding go up to 88%. Now, throughout my career with my company, Prudential, I'm going on 15 years. In fact, my 14th anniversary is this week. And for a lot of that time, I was actually on the leadership side. I was a manager. And as a manager, 6 years spent as a managing director in South Florida, as a manager, you know, one of the things that I did was I recruited and trained, and I got a chance to interview a lot of prospective financial advisor candidates. And there was a couple of things that I was looking for in those interviews to try to gauge the mindset of these prospective advisors. Because again, for me, that was one of the most important attributes. And one of the things that I would always look for is who these prospective advisors asked about in my firm. So I'll give you an example. The advisor or the candidate who would come in and ask about, hey, you know, what is the average income of your new advisors in your firm? That was an advisor that I would automatically say, that was a prospective candidate that I would automatically say, this person may not have the mindset that we're looking for, because we don't want average. We don't want you to think of yourself as average. So don't ask me what's the average income of our new advisors. The candidate that I looked for was the person that came in and said, what does your top advisor do on an annual basis? What's the income of the top advisor in your firm? Because that told me that that person saw themselves as exceptional, that they were going to succeed, that they would be part of that 15%. All right. In fact, there's a guy, the last person that I interviewed before I left South Florida and moved back to North Carolina, the last person that I interviewed, that was his question. He said, what does the top person do in your firm? And guess what? Now, 3 years later, and this is amazing, I'm so proud of him, he is the top guy in that South Florida firm. So kudos to him. Here's the other thing I would look for, though. I believe that you have to be an optimist to be successful in this industry. You cannot be a pessimist and succeed in financial services. You have to be an optimist. So how do I figure out if you're an optimist or not? So there was an interview question that I used to ask candidates. I stole this from an industry legend. And what he would ask his candidates is, tell me about your earliest memory. And what he said was that if your earliest memory, your earliest childhood memory, if that was a positive memory, then chances are you are an optimist. If it was a negative memory, like, oh, you know, I got this bike and I fell off of it and I scraped my knee, then chances are you were a pessimist, and rarely would they hire you. So I want to challenge you to be an optimist, because you will undoubtedly face adversity in this industry. It is tough. You're going to have tough times. There will be times where you will have to eat beanie weenies and ramen noodles. And I found a way to squeeze in the beanie weenie, but you may have tough times. There's a couple of things that I would say you want to do, though, to overcome that adversity. The first thing is I want you to think about spending time with positive, successful people. You have to go around positive, successful people. That's not human nature. Human nature is, if I'm down in the dumps, I'm going to also find someone else who's down in the dumps, and we're going to commiserate in our misery. I want to challenge you to go find positive, successful people. That's what NAFA was for me, because I have had tough times in this industry. And every time I'm in the dumps, I go to a NAFA meeting and I get pumped up because I'm surrounded by positive, successful people. The other thing that you want to do, though, is you want to work harder, right? I believe that you can solve all things through hard work. There's a school of thought out there that says you should work smarter, and I do agree with that as well. But I think that work hard trumps working smart. And I think that there's a lot of people out there that used hard work to be successful, and then they wrote a bunch of books saying, hey, you should work harder. And then the last thing I would say to overcome that adversity, the number one person that you talk to the most is yourself. So make sure that you are feeding yourself with positive thoughts. Remember, mindset is the most important thing. I'm so excited to have had the opportunity to be here today. And I look forward to seeing all of you in our industry and at Performance Plus Purpose this week.
Thank you very, very much, Delvin. Great job there.
Thank you.
So next up, I'm gonna bring my good friend Brian Haney. Brian is a true branding guru. He's here today to give you some pointers on how to make the most of your time for attending this virtual conference and conferences in the future. So Brian, you mind sharing a couple thoughts with us?
Love to, Blake. Thanks for passing it back off. Welcome, everybody. First of all, it's great to see so much Big Ten representation, so shout out for that. It's also simultaneously great to see no Purdue representation. I don't think anybody's from Purdue. I'm an IU alumni myself, so we're operating on all cylinders today. I also need to give a shout out. I think we have a few professors. So Nathan and Craig, thanks for joining us. Just glad that you're able to spend the morning with us, and I hope you're getting a lot of value out of this. So branding, I kind of, you've heard a lot about the landscape of opportunity and what we do in this industry and the various roles that you might be able to consider. I kind of want to take a higher level look and really get you excited about what it's like to actually do some of the functional stuff, especially in a digital economy that we're in, right? We're in the virtual economy. Technology is not a fad. We're not going back to flip phones or rotary dial-up, for those of you that are even old enough to know what I'm talking about. So, when it comes to the concept of how do I actually be a professional, I always tell you that your brand is you. People don't buy the company you work for. They don't buy the company that shows up on their statement every month. They buy you. That is as true in this industry as it is in a lot of other ones where, there's a personal relationship that's considerable and significant. And so that should really not just get you excited because, as you navigate a landscape, whether you decide to work for a company as awesome as a Mass Mutual or a Guardian or a Prudential or any of the ones that we've named, or whether you end up running kind of an independent practice like the one that I have, that's, and you can pull all the companies and all the investments and all the stuff off the shelf. Either way, ultimately, it's still going to boil down to who you are and how you connect with the audience that you're trying to serve. And so I want to get that framework. Your brand is you, and that means you can kill it in any part of this industry and working for any kind of company or opportunity. I also want to tie in, why does an organization like NAFA matter? And I cannot underscore this enough. If we had an hour, I could go for another hour on this. I promise everybody, especially Blake, I'm not going to do that. But being a part of the premier industry association representing the financial service profession is huge, because anybody that comes into a business, whether you're an entrepreneur, regardless of what you're doing, you need to have a built-in network of people that can point you in the right direction, that can speak into you as a professional and as a person. Coming out and trying to make your way in any station of life isn't always easy, and this industry is certainly no stranger to that. And so you're going to need to have that built-in network, as well as so many examples of people that have done what you're about to do that are very willing and able and capable to say, hey, you know, great that you just graduated from University of Illinois and you've landed at Prudential. Here's where I was when where you are now. And here's the things that I did to achieve success. And then you can talk to another person who's got a different framework and way of doing things. And you can just soak in all this fantastic wisdom. And it really reduces the chances that somebody will come into our business and not succeed. So I can't underscore that enough. Back to then, all right, well, how do I, if I'm a college student, whether I have a large network of folks or not, usually we're only optimally connected with people that are north or south of us in age, right? So coming out and turning around and working with a lot of other people that are just getting their lives started, just getting their careers going, may not have the earning potential yet, depending on what they're doing, et cetera. That can be really daunting, I'm not gonna lie. So, that's where recognizing that you can still build a brand that connects well beyond your personal network. And frankly, you want to be able to take advantage of and leverage the technology to do that. So a couple of examples that, I use in my own practice that frankly, anyone can really try to engage with. So meeting people where they are is one of the biggest marketing tactics that strategic, successful marketers will tell you to do. You need to know your audience as well as humanly possible, and then you need to go and meet them where they are. And for our industry, that also looks like trying to spark and have conversations. And we can all think of social media and a lot of channels where we can produce content or engage in a virtual environment and actually be able to connect with somebody before you even meet them in person. So that can look like, maybe one of the places you go is you decide to develop a podcast built for the audience that you want to work with. Somebody mentioned that they work with medical professionals. That's a great example. What if you were able to just launch a podcast, whether it's, 15-minute episodes, it doesn't have to be an hour, just really engaging with, interviewing or talking to potential medical students or somebody that's in the profession for a long time, and really creating a lot of healthy, helpful content. That's a fantastic example as here's how you can build a brand and start to stand out. And oh, by the way, engage in a target audience that won't look down upon you for your age or for where you are, because what you're doing is really connecting with them, meeting them where they are, and then getting the opportunity to start to have financial conversations that'll open that door. Another opportunity might be to write things. I actually graduated from Indiana University with a degree in journalism, which I use to my advantage as much as possible. I write articles probably 2 a month through a variety of publication resources. Any one of you can look at the Online News Association. There's a massive growing part of kind of the communications industry. I'm not even call it the news industry anymore because it cuts across a lot of the traditional mediums and it goes to non-traditional mediums, right? So you can plug in a meaningful way and produce content across mediums, articles, et cetera, that elevate that personal brand of yours, if that's something that you like to do. And oh, by the way, maybe you want to self-publish, write a book. Also something that I've done, right? So I'm a published author. Maybe you like to speak, or maybe you've enjoyed engaging and connecting and you want to be able to stand in front of an audience and teach them something, or come on to a platform like this and speak to a bunch of people virtually. If that's something that excites you, you have the opportunity to do that as well. There's a lot of ways very early in any kind of industry career, but especially the financial services industry, where you can start to put in the legwork to develop a brand, to build relational equity with people who you may not even meet in person for a while because of the power of virtual marketing. And all of a sudden, there you are out the gate, killing it in your respective sphere. And all of that can be made possible by plugging into an organization like NAIFA, where there are people like myself and all the panelists that have spoken to you today that'll show you the way. That'll say, hey, here's how you take step 1. then step 2, then step 3, and then the next 25 steps, right? And surrounding yourself with extraordinary people, people that have, been professional athletes, people that have been, career salesmen and other professions, people for whom they did something else for 25 years and then decided that they were going to start this as their second career choice, and everything in between. It's an amazing place to go. And then NAIFA does so much for you as an association to bring you in front of consumers. So they've got a lot in their digital landscape and platform that once you're connected, once you're a member, once you're engaged, they find ways to plug you and do things on your behalf that give you more credibility, increase your visibility, maybe open doors of opportunity for you. You take advantage of the power of an entire, coast to coast national association, what they're willing to do to meet you where you are and make sure that you're professional, you're professionally successful and personally successful as well. So, man, I could keep going on. I'm going to round this home and say, you also get to join us for our annual conference. That's why you're here. That's kind of the kickoff to all of this. So that's why I got this background up. Please make sure that you continue to participate today. Enjoy all of the sessions. I've got one later on talking about inbound marketing, branding, more of what I just kind of pulled the curtain back on a little bit, and a variety of other things. Stay with us. We're so glad you're here. Thank you for attending. Thanks for listening. I appreciate it.
Hey, thank you very much, Brian. And one thing I want to add for those of you attending this webinar is that not one of these presenters gets compensated for presenting, right? Every one of these presenters is doing this because they believe that NAIFA is that important to our industry, that we dedicate our time day to day to make sure that NAIFA is as good as it can be. So I want to personally say thank you to everybody that has hopped on this call and present to us. And then don't forget that Thursday after the P+P session concludes, we're going to come back for a debrief and hopefully share some remarks about the program. Thank you again for joining, and enjoy NAIFA P+P 2020. Thank you, everybody.